1.
Before we get started, this episode of Fragments Silicon's review is sort of brought to you by Space Destroyer Hunter Mavine, the pilot's Indiegogo campaign, in the sense that our executive producer is running an Indiegogo campaign and, has pressed upon us to help support this thing through advertisements.
It's a pretty neat independent science fiction setting. He's got a webcomic in it, and he's trying to make it into a proper animated series thingy, and it would be really neat to see that happen.
Right, so just go to www.indiegogo.com/project/space-destroyer-hunter-the-pilot-anime-series.
Links will be in the description for the video version.
Yeah. It's just, you can't just send out a link in voice.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway. So
soon.
I got to read all that out. Or you can just, I suppose, go to Indiegogo.com and type Space Destroyer Hunter. In the search engine. Whatever way works for you. Support the Indiegogo campaign. It's got about a month to go. I think it started on Wednesday. I think it's a 35-day campaign. Currently, it is 3% of its $15,000 goal. It's also flexible, so even if it misses it by a certain margin, it'll still happen. So be sure to support this today or tomorrow. Sometime before the kicks. Indiegogo. Sorry, it's going to be hard to say that Indiegogo instead of Kickstarter.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Kleenex is actually tissues.
Yes, it's like crowdfunding campaign. Be sure to support that so this dream can be made into a reality. On that note, so welcome to the review proper. We've only got one this week. I kind of cleared the table for this massive visual novel called the Capo 3R.
And even with that, we did not actually manage to finish the game because this is the kind of game that has. This is the kind of game that has like 2 7+ hour prologues on the 2 different sides of its story.
Yeah, I'm like, I couldn't get it. I haven't even gotten out of the second prologue. I'm like, okay, so when you start up the game, you have the option to, start up the main game. Or you can go into the menu, and there are a bunch of side campaigns that are unlocked as you go through the game. And one of them is unlocked from the start. I spent, no joke, about 9-10 hours on that. Because that is its own visual novel, basically.
And it is canon, although it's not immediately. It's weird because it involves the same characters, but kind of not.
Well,
because this is a game with a really complicated time line and reincarnation and stuff is involved.
Right, but that's kind of the series hallmark. Especially.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we talked about this in the interview. The term "da capo" means to return.
Yeah, to return to the beginning and then continue to the end.
Yes. And now, unfortunately, we've never played any of the other Da Capo titles. They're not on Steam. They may never come to Steam. And there are apparently series connections here, but I'm like,
Yeah, one of the main characters of this game is a distant descendant of the main characters of the first and second games,
Right.
who are also like, it's a generational thing with skipping a couple generations apparently, and also there's a weird time loopy thing. So some of the characters in this may also be ancestors of some of those people.
Yeah. Well, let's explain this a bit more. I'm like, so you've got two scenarios going on. You've got the present day setting, which is on a modern, which is modern Japan. I think it's actually like it's supposed to be future Japan.
Yeah, I did the they're talking about stuff that happened in the 1950s as being at least 100 years ago. So
yeah, so it's like the 2050s.
Yeah, 2050s or early 2060s, possibly.
It's like that. Although I'll note, it's one of those. It's not a sci-fi visual novel at any point. So
yeah, it's 20 minutes into the future.
Yeah, like kind of literally, because it just looks modern. You know, it's like they don't even have like the pretense of future tech. It looks like, present day Japan.
There's a couple of things that could be attributed to science fiction level technology, but I think in this they are mostly attributed to magic.
Right.
Which is not really time related, like in terms of what you can do with magic.
Yeah. And magic plays a big part in the game, because, well, first of all, the present day setting is an island named Hatsune Jima.
Hatsune Jima, yeah.
Which is the setting of the
Hatsune Island.
Yeah. I'm like, it is the setting of the previous games as well, and it's centered around the eternally blooming cherry blossom. Yeah.
Which at the beginning of this game has become an ordinary cherry tree and is no longer blooming eternally, but then, like, a little bit in, it starts doing that again.
Well, it's because they all made a fucking wish, and that apparently was actual magic. And I'm sorry to say that we're not going to be able to cover too much about the plot because, none of us had nearly enough time to do an 80-hour play session.
I mean, literally, because we started this week, and generally, I believe the amount of time the average person is awake in a week is not much more than that.
Yes. I'm like, it does make it kind of hard to evaluate this thing because, it's like, I'll just tell you right now, in terms of content, this game is worth it. Like, it's gonna keep you occupied for a long time. Because of just not the main campaign. So the main campaign, this is actually the first one of these I think we've covered. Actually. Because it's not just a visual novel, it's a visual novel dating sim,
which is a pretty common subgenre. So it's surprising we haven't had more of them.
Yeah, believe me, it surprised me too. But yeah, this is like the first. I'm like full-on dating sim we've covered, and yeah, it's like and it's like the first visual novel since I think the Danganronpa series, where there's free time, like where you have independent actions of the that like you get and in this case, at the end of the day, you have a bevy of options. You can call one of the girls. You can talk to your cousin, who is a Charles, who is a girl, yes, the fact that
Sharuru sounds like a lot more like a girl's name in Japanese than Charles does in English. It's the French Charles, so it's Charles, but
who is your cousin in the present timeline, but she's somebody completely different in the let's say Harry Potter timeline.
Yeah, and isn't your next door neighbor your sister in the other timeline?
Yes, your next door neighbor is your younger sister. Is your
so yeah, there are all these characters that have the same first names, but a lot of them have different last names.
Yeah,
like a few hundred years ago in England in a magic school.
Yeah, they do tend to have the same kind of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's definitely kind of a Generation Xerox,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kind of deal. You know, anyway, the third option you can do is listen to the radio. I have not sussed out exactly what that does, but I'm assuming it does something. It might unlock bonus material.
Yeah. Or this is a dating sim, so it might involve routes. Like it might help you access a different route or something.
Yeah, and that is another hallmark of the game. This game splits off into routes. It's like the routes are predicated on which girl you go with. Also, another difference between the side stories and the main game is you can tell that they were made for different formats. Like, you can tell that the side stories came from, say, the PlayStation Portable or Vita version of the game because they're very all ages. The main story, even though it's not the X-rated cut, I could definitely see why that existed because it still gets pretty, you know, it still gets suggested themes there, and I'll be honest, you know, I did get kind of turned off by them.
So did I.
You know, but that's mainly because, you know, I kind of, you know, it's like I'm one of those people who don't get turned on by, you know.
Yeah, all of the female characters are designed.
Underage. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, all of the female characters are designed to hit certain kinds of moe, and some of them it's being very young, and some of them it's being kind of sort of related to you, and one of them it's being basically Haruhi only blonde in terms of being the kind of person who's really into being the best and looking for weird stuff.
Yes. And you know, in the main game, sometimes you get you get them in various stages of undress, or you get them in certain poses that are designed to push certain fetishistic buttons. I know how this works, guys. Mm-hmm. You know,
Japan has this down to a science.
Even with no actual nudity, you can still get panty shots and stuff.
Yes. So be wary of that. In the side story, there was none of that. You know, it was all, you know, it was all ages stuff. Like, you know, the stuff I saw in the main game, I guess would be T for teen stuff. You know, although, you know, considering the age of the people involved, that's maybe a deeper debate. But, you know, it's not something you could really classify as X-rated or R-rated or anything like that, like the Manga Gamer cut. You know, it's like, yeah, if you want the nudity and the I believe there are actual sex scenes in the game. It's not something I could confirm.
In the adult version, I think there are.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the point is, if you're looking for that stuff, just get the Manga Gamer cut right now. You're not going to get it from the Steam version, not unless you find a way to patch it. And unlike certain other publishers out there, I don't think like one of those officially exists. No.
Mm-hmm. As far as I know, there isn't.
I'm sure there's a way to do that because this is the PC, and that's the way PC games go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like the thing about PC games is that they're patchable.
Yes. I'm like, you know, I'm just saying that, you know, unlike, you know, other visual novels that we have played in review, that we didn't get help by the publishers themselves to unlock the naughty bits. Like, anyway, so outside of that, you know, the other reason I didn't play as much as I thought I would be playing is, how do I put this? You know, in spite of the sheer size, in spite of all that you can do, all you can unlock, you know, there is a lot of this game. It's just I did not find the Capo 3R all that compelling on its own. Yeah.
There's a lot of it. It's a story that, I mean, it's not like it's an uninteresting story, but it's, if
No,
you're
but-
not interested in, like, I mean, it's a dating sim. It's a sort of harem,
Yeah, it's
magical mystery sort of
Yeah.
thing. It doesn't go out of its way to really grab you with the hook unless that is a hook for you.
yeah. So if I could boil this down to a few words, it's not just like romance and dating sim. It's typical. Like, at no point did I feel like I was playing something, even vaguely outside normal VN tropes and anime tropes and all that stuff. Not saying that's necessarily bad, but I'm like, it's definitely less compelling than, say, Memory Dogma, I played like last year, which was a much more unconventional visual novel, or The House in Fata Morgana.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, this is the one that is really. I'm going to use this not in this situation as a particularly judgmental or derogatory statement, but this is the one of the more anime visual novels we've done.
I'll go a step further and say, when people think about visual novels, this is probably the kind of visual novel that they're thinking of. It's definitely the type of visual novel that got popular, like Clannad or Air, or any of those. Fate Stay Night. I mean, yeah, Fate Stay Nights. I understand it's also got like RPG mechanics in it, but it's also got the dating adult sim stuff in it as well.
Yeah, Fate Stay Night, I would say, actually has a more divergent plot than a lot of them, although it does have a lot of that stuff in it.
True, but my point is, when people, at least like especially like say last decade, thought of visual novels, this is the kind of visual novel they were thinking of. Visual novels mixed in with dating sim elements of various, waifu simulators, that some people like to call them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those. The narrative is part of it, but I will tell you, it is fucking secondary to interactions. Like, character interactions is what is the main driver in both sides.
This is a story where there wouldn't be any point in having the tree magically come back to life if your cousin didn't then use trying to talk about it as a pretext to crawl into your bed and make you have uncomfortable feelings about how big her boobs have gotten.
Right. I'm like, and I will say, while most of the conversations are, centered around, female interaction, you do get the occasional, well, first of all, there's that one guy.
Yeah, your best friend who's kind of a creepy pervert.
Yeah, Ghost K or something like that.
And the magical school side also is definitely much more school oriented than the present day. The present day is more focused in investigating why the cherry tree blossom has come back to life. Like, at least the first episode. Like, the first episode was. I don't know if other episodes into the past are different. I hadn't unlocked another one of them, and going by how long that shit was, it was probably going to be like 4 to 8 hours.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that the prologue actually is an unusually proportionally large part of this game, but I'm not sure.
I believe it. Like,
I believe it too.
yeah.
Because obviously once stuff breaks off into routes, you won't be in the prologue anymore, but I don't know how much more there is besides the routes after the prologue.
Yeah. Like, and you also do make choices in the game, which will affect outcomes.
So as far as visual novels go, it's actually, I mean, there's a lot of just reading to go through, obviously, but there's more choice and interactivity than in some visual novels.
But like
Probably than in most.
Maybe not most, but certainly a lot of the ones we've reviewed. But I'm like, I can't say it was one of the better visual novels we've dealt with, because even outside, like, the storyline is pretty average. The characters are stock. They're stock anime tropes that really don't break any boundaries. I'm like, the production values are pretty average outside of the CG cutscenes.
I'd say they're pretty good, but that the average has come up to where this is probably.
That could be a case. Like,
I mean, the voice acting is decent. It's not like every single line, but like a decent amount of them. There are. It's not like what was the one that had like all of the poses and transitions fully animated. This definitely does the fading out.
Supipara,
right?
I have yet to see a visual novel come even close to.
Yeah, it's certainly not that, but it's not.
No.
It's not like the animations are janky or
no.
Above average.
Yeah, like I said, it's all pretty typical stuff. The music, outside of an occasional track that stands out, I'm like, the music is all pretty typical visual novel fare, like, very light and bouncy. Very mood.
I mean, obviously, when it's not a situation for that, it's not. But
I'm like, I think there's like 58 songs or something like that. Again, the advantage of being like the definitive version of this package is you just get a lot of stuff here. Like, now, it's worth noting that comes with a price, and I mean that literally. Like, this is probably the most expensive visual novel we've covered to date. Hang on, I've got to look up the price because I think it's like
$40.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that is an expensive. Then again, I guess when you consider if it's like 80 hours of screen time, that's a.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to mentally transfer this to, like, what if it was an anime?
Mm-hmm. I'm like, so the question is this game worth it at $40? I'm like, so I'm going to say it depends. This is one of the biggest "it depends" purchases I can think of.
I think you know better than we do whether or not you think you'll get $40 worth of enjoyment out of.
It depends on what you're looking for, basically.
This story and.
Yeah. In terms of more objective markers, it's adequate and up. It's serviceable and up. But it's like, if you don't enjoy romance, if you don't enjoy dating sims, don't even bother.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're looking for, if you're looking for the sex portions, don't even bother with the fucking.
It's not on the Steam one.
And hang on, I'm gonna have to do a check to see if this game is the same price on the Manga Gamer web store, because here's another thing about the visual novel industry, as it were. I'm like, the uncensored version tends to be more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
For fairly obvious reasons, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean, uncensoring takes hours and hours of dedicated work for. Oh no, wait, it's because it's rarer, or because it's restricted.
No, it's because they know people will pay more to get nudity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
It's like, I'm dropping all pretenses here. These things are usually priced more because they know you'll pay more for it.
Yeah, it's $44.95.
I rest my case.
They know.
And there you go. The Manga Gamer version is more expensive.
That said, if you're going to this for porn, there are probably more time and money efficient ways of getting porn. But if you think the story would be improved by that, then go ahead.
when it comes to nudity, porn, and fucking, people are not the most logical creatures in the world. Let's just say.
It's like to say sex sells.
Yeah, it's like, believe me, there are absolutely ways that this game would you probably get those scenes. Not exactly maybe ethical or legal, but I'm sure there are ways. Anyway, so final thoughts on Capo 3R here.
It's a visual novel. If you like visual novels, have fun.
If you're looking for a visual novel with romance and the usual that comes with these games, I can recommend it.
It seemed enjoyable enough, but I don't know if I would ever have time to finish.
It was a little better than I expected, but just
It's really long, which I mean to some people is a good thing, but to me, it doesn't even. It's like even the chunks aren't small. So
Yeah, it's like, I'll be honest, like, this is the kind of, this would probably be better on the go. Like
Like on a
you
3DS, something where like if you're in the middle, you can just close it and put it in your pocket
tablet,
and get to it later. Yeah.
Yeah. It might take longer overall, but you could peck at it. I'm like, but that's a discussion for another day, I think. Anyway, so that'll do it for this. Not just episode of Fragments of Silicon Reviews, but this installment, because we only had the one game this session. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes we either don't have enough games. This one was by design. Just keep that in mind.
yeah, we didn't want to. I mean, I didn't have that much time either way, but yeah, Adam wouldn't have had any time for anything else.
Yeah, I'm like, jeez. I will say some of it was just because I couldn't play this game for more than, say, an hour. Like, it just got tedious at points, because I'll say it right now. This isn't my kind of visual novel, but that's why I'm putting that on the subjectivity rating. If you're into romance, if this is your bag, go for it. You will get so much of it, it's not even funny.
It might actually cure you if your problem. I'm kidding.
Anyway, so the week ahead, on Tuesday, we have another Euro interview. We have Philip Dochel, I think that's how it's pronounced. He's French, of FDG Entertainment. Looking forward to this. Looking really forward to this because FDG is our first confirmed Switch developer.
Confirmed as in has dev kit and making Switch games.
Right. They are currently working on, for the Switch, they're currently porting the Ocean Horn, which is kind of a, it's a Zelda clone, basically. If I'm being honest here, it looks pretty close to Zelda. It plays pretty similarly.
Specifically, it looks like a 3D version of 2D Zeldas.
Yeah. It looks like a hybrid of Link to the Past and Wind Waker, and indeed they cited Wind Waker as an influence in case it wasn't obvious. I played a couple of hours of the game during the break. I liked what I played well enough. But like the big thing that they're working on right now is Monster Boy and the Cursed King, which is a spiritual successor to the Wonder Boy series.
Which was localized to the U.S. as some of the Adventure Island series, I think, which is weird.
Not this one.
This is one of the other ones?
Yeah.
This is the series that... Okay.
This is based off of Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap. That's that one that Naka did way back in the day.
It's a complicated series history with that one.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what, we might, I'm thinking we're going to cover the Wonder Boy series this for the topic of discussion.
Sure.
Like, just so we
Sounds
can
like
go
an
through.
interesting topic.
Well, it's like just so we can go through all these tangled threads. Because no, seriously, this is one of the most convoluted histories of franchises in the entire fucking industry. I'm not even joking here. Anyway, so the point is they are making a spiritual successor to that. I believe with the original creator of that game. Or it could be the other one because the game is being developed in collaboration with Wonder Boy series creator Ryuichi Nishizawa. But he's also supporting because there are there's this company called Lizard Cube that is doing a full-on remake of Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap. I'm like, tried getting them on the show.
So we have a game based on a game and a game that's a remake of the game coming out in like the same year.
Yes. It wouldn't be fucking Wonder Boy if this shit wasn't confusing. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, on Wednesday, February 22nd, we will be having currently confirmed Adrian Bauer and Jonathan Gear of D-Pad Studio. They're the developers of Owlboy. We just reviewed that last week. If you want to go hear more of our actual thoughts on the game, well, go watch that review or listen to it. But we'll be talking about the 9-year journey that was the development of Owlboy, and we'll also see what the hopefully what the future holds. Although they may be waiting until GDC on that.
We'll see
Anyway,
what they do,
and next week we have 2 reviews. Next week we are going to be reviewing Starship Titanic. This is because this is Night Dive's, technically speaking, their latest release. I'll also note if we didn't, this is actually the rare game that we didn't get codes provided for. Like, I actually bought this during a Steam sale, so anyone else who wants to help out with the review is going to have to buy their own.
Already done.
I think this was included in the humble whatever the bundle just was.
The Freedom Bundle? I think those are the System Shock games, but I'm not exactly sure.
You might be right. It doesn't look like I have it, so I don't think it was.
The game is fairly cheap, so there shouldn't be a problem buying it.
Yeah, about
Probably
$6,
not.
I think.
Yeah, it's like if you can't afford $6, I'm not sure what to say. Maybe it's the.
If you haven't got a hay penny, then God bless you.
Also, we are reviewing Fairy Fencer F Advent Dark Force, the latest release from Idea Factory. Now, I checked the specs on this. I might not be able to run it, but I know Petty Fan can, so he might be taking the lead there. So, just throwing that out there. And yeah, that is our schedule as far as MSP goes. We are still slated to have an episode, although hopefully Mac hasn't descended into complete despair by that point. And
Yeah, I imagine having a crowdfunding campaign that hasn't met its goal yet can be nerve-wracking.
well, it's not so much as it hasn't met its goal; it's not really got any momentum right now. I'm being honest. Like,
We're hoping to get it some.
yeah, I'm like, so. Well, until Tuesday, I wish you good gaming.